Christmas is my favorite time of year. I love the lights and the snow and the movies and the presents and the atmosphere and the activities and all the things that you get to do at Christmas time. And Christmas is such an inspiring time for me as an author. I use a lot of what's going on to study for my books, for how I'm writing, for how I'm doing character development and world development. I use it to inspire storylines. I use it for a lot inside of my author life, including my marketing. So Christmas has always been a big deal for me. I love everything about Christmas. It truly is my favorite time of year, even though I hate the cold. I want summer tropical stuff, but Christmas time, the atmosphere, is my absolute favorite. So let's talk a little bit about my Christmas, what I'm doing, how things are happening, how things typically happen. And I'm going to tell you some really cool, fun, not a lot of people know facts about me and where I come from and what I do and all those things along the way. So let's get started with my absolute favorite part of Christmas, the Christmas lights. This year, I have been able to go to a bunch of different light walks. I've been able to drive through a bunch of light places, and I've had so much fun because for a lot of it, I've been able to take my puppies with me, and they haven't been able to go walk through lights yet. And actually, only one of them has been able to go walk through lights. Gemma is really good about being around people and not caring. Lucy gets a little nervous around people sometimes. She has a little bit of anxiety, so I haven't tried her out in public yet, but I do intend to. Probably a little bit after Christmas. I'm going to try that with her when it's a little bit less crowded. But Gemma got to go with me, and outside of that, I took them to drive through lights, which they love doing. So I'll sit in the back seat of my car, and I will drive with them. I usually have a little video light or something so that I can see my dogs, and I get really cute footage of them looking out the windows, watching all the lights. We got to go to Virginia Beach this year, and we got to go through their boardwalk lights, which is blocks and blocks and blocks of these incredible displays. But I also got to go to places like Illuminites, where you get to walk through over a mile of really cool light displays, and then they had things where you got to walk down a couple of blocks of lights as well, and they had really tall displays and places to take pictures, and so it was a lot of fun for us to get to go out and see the lights. I love going out when it's glowy, so even if there's no specific light displays, I have always loved getting in the car and driving around to look at houses. And when I was little, my dad used to take us to the city near where we lived. So we kind of lived out in the country, but we had a city that just had people that just went all out with their decorations. We would just drive around and look at houses. So Christmas lights were always one of my favorites. I love doing light displays. We never went too all out with my house because it's a lot of work to put things up and take them down. And where I'm living right now doesn't have electricity outside, so all of my lights are solar. But here we are, going through all the lights, doing all the fun things. There's a couple of places that are within driving distance that I can go see some really nice lights. So in the comments, I want you to tell me about your favorite light displays. Have you decorated this year? Are you liking the solar trend? Because thank God for those. At least I have some lights out in my house. But talk to me a little bit about the Christmas lights that you love. I've always loved decorating Christmas trees, but this year I didn't really have time to decorate my Christmas trees. I had a lot of family things pop up that I wasn't expecting. So my trees are just pretty lights, and I actually have several trees. I've got a multicolored tree. I've got a gold tree. I've got these trees, which are the flocked ones. These have battery packs in them, so they're not actually plugged in. So I don't have these on all of the time. But I also have a corner of my house that has a ledge, and I put my tiny 3-foot pink Christmas tree, and then I got some pink Christmas tinsel trees to go up there. I made a pink wonderland because one of my nieces is obsessed with the color pink, and so I've got little gingerbread dogs up there. I've got disco balls. I'm looking at it right now. I've got some wintry white pine type things and those pink trees, and I'm so excited to show her. She's coming over on Christmas Eve, and she's going to lose her mind when she sees this. So this year, very chill with the decorating because I had planned on doing something, but family stuff got in the way. So let me know in the comments, how is your tree decorated? I want to hear all about it. One of my favorite Christmas traditions started when I was probably a tween, and it revolves around gift giving. I realized that my grandmother, who was a widow most of my life, was really excited about Christmas presents, but she had 3 daughters. So my family, my aunt and my uncle, and then my aunt, we all gave her gifts for Christmas, but it was only a handful of gifts per 3 families. It wasn't a ton of gifts, but she loved unwrapping presents. And so as a tween, I saw this, and I went to the store and I found a giant stocking. I'm talking almost the size of me stocking. And I convinced my sister my two cousins to come to the store with me, and we all picked out a bunch of things. So we went to the dollar store, and we each had like $5-6 from our parents, and between the four of us, we picked out like 20-25 presents for my grandma, just like little things. She was the kind of person who loved like the little flowers that danced in the sun, or like little statues to put on her shelves. So like little trinket things. She loved that. And so she got to open 20-25 of these presents on Christmas. So we went to the store, we picked out things we thought she would like, we wrapped them up, we put them in this giant stocking and surprised her with it. Now, the next year, I couldn't convince anybody to do it with me. That was like a one-hit wonder for them. But I, being the gift-giving person that I am, did it every year until she died. Like all the way through my adulthood, I got her a stocking full of little trinkets. And so now that my two little nieces are old enough to understand, they are continuing this with me and my mom. And so my mom is now grandma. She's also now a widow. So she only gets presents from me. And I try my best to get her a good handful of things. But my sister usually does like 1 or 2 presents for her. So she's not getting a lot. She doesn't have a lot of presents coming in from various locations. And I know that can be really hard. So I want to make sure that when I'm doing it, I'm getting as much as possible. Like I get her one really big, good gift, and then I get her a handful of smaller things. So she has things to open, because she does a lot for us. She likes to get a lot of little things for me and my sister and her family. And so now that my nieces are old enough, last year we started taking them shopping, and we would give them a couple of dollars. We would go to the dollar store, and I would let the girls pick out presents for grandma. And last year, we had to help them. We had to guide them a little bit. This year, the oldest niece is definitely old enough to start picking out her own presents. The little niece will probably need some more guidance, but we're going to go to the store, and we are going to pick out some presents, and we're going to put them in a giant stocking. And that giant stocking is the same one I used for my grandmother. It has a ribbon that says grandma on it that I got for her as part of her stocking, and we just fill it up every year. And my oldest niece has been asking to do this for the last 2 weeks. She remembered it from last year. She's really smart. And she has asked to do it again this year. So we're going to go shopping. I'm really excited to continue the tradition. Speaking of which, let's talk about presents, because I went all out this year. I am a big gift giver, and I want to be a thoughtful gift giver. So I don't just get things. I don't just get trinkets for people. I am very, very specific and intentional about the gifts that I give. I think about things that they could use, things that they would like, things that would speak to their personalities, their hobbies, their work, what is important to them right now. And I look heavily at what is important to them right now, and I try to find something that is going to either just be very meaningful to them, or help them in some way, or open up new avenues to continue down that path. So for presents this year, I really leaned into what people are going to benefit from, but would also like. So I'm really excited about my mom's Christmas gift, and don't you dare tell any of my relatives what I'm getting them. For my mom this year, I got a set of headphones, or her big gift is headphones, and they're open ear headphones, so it's bone conducting. So it kind of sits behind the ear and it conducts through that bone so that your ear is open so you can hear the environment around you. So when she's going out for her walks, or when she's swimming in her pool, because they're waterproof, she's going to be able to tune in via Bluetooth to the radio that she likes to listen to. She can attach it to her phone to play those audios. She can actually input audio into it. So if she has song files or something she wants to upload, she can listen to them while she's out swimming, so that she doesn't have to, be out there in silence. My mom is not somebody who likes silence. She can't be alone with herself in silence. She has to have the TV on, or she has to have the radio on. And so when she goes out to swim, or when she goes out for a walk, if she's out swimming, she can't do anything, and that's kind of boring for her. For walking, it's dangerous for her to have those earphones there, those earbuds in. So this is a really good one that she can use. It's specifically designed to go in water and for fitness stuff. So I'm very excited about that one. I also got her some other things, but that was her big fancy present from me. I got myself a vibration plate, and I let my mom try it. She's obsessed with it. So I went and got her a vibration plate too. I think it's showing up 2 days after Christmas. So she knows it's coming. It's belated, but she's going to get one of those as well. I did go and get her a wooden brush, because I saw on TikTok that the wooden brushes move the oils through her hair and make it more shiny. So I did that. I did a bunch of little stocking stuffer things, makeup that she likes, hairbrush, comb, cleaner type things. I got some other things for her as well that I'm totally blanking on right now, and I wrapped them so I don't remember what they all are. But that was her big gift. I'm very excited about that. For my sister and her husband, I actually created a collection of different devices that they can use for filming content. My sister has recently gotten into mommy vlogging, and she's done really well with it. She's getting big brand deals with all the big companies. She's doing very profitably well for what she is creating, and so I went and I got a whole collection of things that she can use for that. So the big one is a really great microphone system, one that I use on my own phones, and she can plug it into her phone and have that lapel mic so she can get, I think it's like 300 feet away from her phone and get really good audio. It's a company I work with. I have 5 or 6 of their microphones now. They keep sending me things to try out. So because I really liked it, I went and bought her one of those, and it's got a dual microphone so that she can do her microphone but also give somebody else a microphone. She doesn't interview people, but who knows, she might like clip it on one of her kids while they're doing content, or her husband or something. So she has options, or she can swap them out if she's doing longer form content, which she's now getting into. I also did, which I'm really excited about, there's a mount that I have that I got for her as well that you can clip onto carts in like Target or Walmart, who she does brand deals with, and film herself while she's filming without having to have her husband like try to figure that out and deal with all that stuff. They can just clip it right on, clamp the phone in, and just go and get really great footage. There's also one made for the car to go in between her headrests, so I got her a handful of those things, and that's a big collective gift for the both of them. For my nieces, I of course have gone all out. There's tons of like Bluey things, and there's like Bluey toys. I got Tonys. If you guys have seen some of my other videos, I got recordable creative Tonys that connect to their boxes, and they are going to be able to hear stories from me. So I bought 2 of them, but they're only getting 1 of them for Christmas. The other is for my niece's birthday coming up. And the one they're getting for Christmas is like family history, family lore, family stories. So, you know, the time that I was photographing a peacock and something funny happened, the time that my puppy taught my other puppy how to do her tricks, stuff that comes from like stories about my dad who is no longer with us, stories about their great-grandmother, my grandmother, who's no longer with us. I tried to touch on, as I was recording these things, all of the main family members that they would hear us talk about, and then the stories that they've constantly asked me for while we're out and about driving and doing things. I get story requests on repeat from the nieces, so I've recorded all of those things. I'm also having my mother record some things, which she hasn't done yet. We're getting real close to Christmas and she hasn't done it yet, so it might just be me. But we're doing like family history, and then I'll be able to add things to it. The birthday one is going to be made up stories, because she also, my oldest niece likes me to make up stories about different animals and characters. So I'm going to create one for them, and then they're going to be able to put it on their Tony box and hear those stories whenever they want, not just when I'm there. The one hang up to that is I've told the stories in audio, and they're going to have it to play, and they'll hear the same story the same way every time they play that story. And if I don't then in real life tell the story with the same sentences, I will get called on it, because I have been called on it. When I told my niece's favorite story, my peacock story, I tell it a little bit differently every time, and she catches and calls me on it every time. So now that it's recorded, she has the ability to listen to it whenever, but I will be in even more trouble if I don't tell it exactly the same way, which I will never be able to do. So a lot of Bluey stuff, a lot of toys. I have some other things that I've basically finished my Christmas shopping in September, but I just keep collecting little things. So I'm very excited for all of that. And then for my aunt, I got an underwater punching bag. So she's got this really nice pool. She actually builds pools professionally in back of her house, and when it warms back up, she'll be able to take this punching bag, like kickboxing bag, and attach it either to the bottom of her pool, or she can harness it onto herself. And because she has a bunch of injuries, she has to do low impact things. So she can low impact kickbox, or lift the water weights, or like punch it, so she can get a workout while she's swimming in between her jobs, because she's super busy and doesn't have time to kind of like do all the things. So now she can do all the things in one, so she doesn't miss out on pool time. So she actually got that. She was here to visit. I know what I am getting for Christmas, because I got some of it already, but also because I just know what my mom did. I helped her pick those things out, so there's not really surprises for me this year. But I definitely got a new drone that I'm going to be able to film content with that I'm very excited about. I got some green screens to do some cool things with. I got some techie underwater filming things. It was very much a content creator Christmas for me. And then for my dogs, I got, and the people in my life got, Fluent Pet, which I'm so excited about. It is talking buttons so that my dogs can just press little buttons and they were going to be able to learn to talk to me. So right now they're learning our names because I got it early. And I expanded the set. So like my aunt got me part, I got part, my mom got part. So we just have this big expansive matte button system. And my dogs are right now learning how to press the buttons for names. And then we're going to expand it to come and help and outside and all the things that they're going to need to communicate with me. I have been watching some of these dogs on TikTok speak in like full sentences to people, and we are working toward that. So I'm really excited for that. But Christmas, I completely outdid myself. This year, I have spent a ton of money, but got a ton of great deals. Like all those things I was telling you about, I got incredible deals, and I've done great videos over on my main channel on that. So if you want to learn how I got like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of gifts for people for maybe a couple of $100, like I saved hundreds upon hundreds of dollars on these things. I have videos over on my main channel for that. So let me know, what is on your wish list? What are you hoping Santa brings you this year? Let's talk about it in the comments. I grew up in northeastern Pennsylvania, so we always had snow on Christmas. In fact, back home, they just had back-to-back snowstorms. Here, I do not have snow, so enjoy some clips of my pups in the snow from last year when we got it in like January or February. Snow has always meant Christmas to me. It was always really important for us to get snow on Christmas. It wasn't Christmas if it didn't snow at least a little. And growing up in the Northeast, I always had snow on the ground for Christmas. But I only remember maybe 1 or 2 Christmases where it didn't actively snow on Christmas Day. Like that was a really big, important deal for us. And I loved that I grew up in the Northeast because I would get to go out and play in the snow on Christmas when I was little. We would get to go ice skating on our pond because we had a pond where I lived. My grandmother had it. And so we would just go like down over the hill and we would have this big pond we could go skating on, because at that point it was almost always, not always, but almost always frozen solid and safe for us to go out on. So Christmas Day was kind of one of those like get up, do the presents, do breakfast, go to grandma's because we went to the other grandparents on Christmas Eve. So I guess the tradition is Christmas Eve at my dad's parents, Christmas morning at our house, Christmas afternoon at my grandmother's house. And then we would go outside and we would play and we would go ice skating and sledding and build snowmen and snow forts and all of those things until we got old enough to realize it's too cold to be outside. But we would have that Christmas experience. And I think a big part of why snow was so important, aside from it just being like tradition, a fun thing, was where I grew up, because I did grow up in the Northeast. I grew up in a teeny tiny little town, and in that town, the Christmas song Winter Wonderland was written. And so there's an actual apartment where you can see it. When we were in, I think, the 4th grade, they took us on like a heritage tour. So we went around and we learned all the history from the surrounding areas. And one of the things that we did was learn about the song Winter Wonderland. Now, this is also a place where like Washington Irving hung out. He was Legend of Sleepy Hollow. We have a cliff named after him. We were the site of the first steam locomotive in the United States and all these really cool things. But my favorite is probably that Winter Wonderland was written there, and it kind of overlooked our Central Park. It wasn't written about our Central Park, but it overlooked it, and so that's just a really big part of our history. So when people ask favorite Christmas songs, of course I have to bring that one up. It's a really fun point to talk about. It's like one of those fun facts. And so I know a lot about that song, a lot about how it was created, where it was created, all of those things, and it just says Christmas to me, because Winter Wonderland, like if you don't have snow, is it really Christmas? It doesn't feel like it down here in the wannabe South where I'm living right now. And yes, I am trying to move where it's further south so that it's actually warm, because like a 70-degree Christmas would be elite. Like I would love it, but I do kind of like just that sprinkle of snow just on Christmas Day, and then I can go away the rest of the year. But of course, when I cannot have actual snow, I do like to make it kind of atmospheric. So movies are going to be a really big deal for me. I love a good Christmas movie. I know all of the Rankin Bass Christmas movies like by heart. I have this weird capacity for trivia for the Rankin Bass movies, like Rudolph, the Jack Frost one, Little Drummer Boy, Nestor the Long-Eared Christmas Donkey. I loved that one. And when I was younger, I used to wake up super early to watch them on ABC Family, which then became Freeform and all of the things. And they used to have them on at like 6 a.m. So I would get up really early to make sure I got these in. And back when I was little, they used to put them on Christmas Eve. So we would go to my dad's parents' house, and then we'd come home, and while we were like showering, getting ready for bed and all of the things, I would watch all those traditional movies. And this year I'm going to introduce my nieces to Rudolph. I'm so excited. But I also love things like Elf and the Santa Claus movies and all of the most of the traditional ones. There are some that I haven't seen, some that I didn't watch when I was younger, that I did watch when I was an adult, that I don't understand. Like if you're a fan of Home Alone, I don't get it. I watched it last year, and I just, as an author, I have a lot of notes. But it's my brother-in-law's favorite movie, so their family watches it a lot. I'm trying to get into it, but I'm very much into like the Santa Claus. Love that movie. I love Elf. I love the Rankin Bass, like Rudolph, Nestor the Long-Eared Christmas Donkey, Jack Frost, which was one of the things that spurred me to write my Jack Frost retelling. And I just like consume Christmas movies, but I like the classics. I'm not the type of person to sit down and like watch Hallmark or Lifetime. I don't need all of those things. Everything is just so nice and lovely. I like the originals. I like the things that I grew up with, and I always make an effort to see all the Rankin Bass ones every year. But I've done trivia games where I just knew all the answers, and people thought I had to be like cheating or looking it up on my phone, but I just knew them. And I don't know why I know them. I watch them once a year or every year growing up, but I just locked into my brain, so I know a lot of things. Like if you ask me about the Misfit toys and what they do, I can tell you all of them. I'm very logged into these things. I know the weird like names and the town names and the year without a Santa Claus with the Miser Brothers. I actually dressed my puppies up as Snow Miser and Heat Miser this year for a TikTok, which is really funny. I'm really excited because I'm gonna do White Christmas with them as well, and I've got that coming up pretty soon. I have to film that, but I like to watch that one as well. My mom and I actually have my stand by me, so when we're like cooking and things, I wheel it over and we watch White Christmas while we're like getting ready for Christmas Day type stuff. So it's gonna be lots of fun. My sister is coming over with her kids on Christmas Eve. We're doing Christmas Day at their house, so we've got a lot of fun things planned. We're actually tomorrow, I'm going to go do movie day with them. I'm going to do cookie day. So we're going to be making cookies. I want to know in the comment section, what is your favorite Christmas cookie? Do you like sugar cookies? Do you like a lot of icing? Do you do different types of things? I tend to be very basic. I'm a very chill kind of person. My favorites are like oatmeal raisin and sugar cookie and snickerdoodle, that kind of thing. I don't like frills. I don't like a lot of sugar in my stuff. But I will say my absolute favorite Christmas cookie, like hands down, bar none, my favorite Christmas cookie that you cannot bake, you can only get these in the store, is Archway wedding cake cookies. I look for them every single year. It is such a task to try to find them. And they are the single only food item that I have ever, across the board my entire life, said, I have to have at my wedding. My non-existent will not be happening wedding. I have always lifelong said it doesn't matter what the rest of it is, doesn't matter what food we're feeding people, it doesn't matter what the cake looks like, I'm doing all these things. I had like these ideas on how to make other people happy with the cake and with all the things. The only thing I wanted, the only thing I requested was these wedding cake cookies from Archway. They're so freaking hard to find at Christmas time. It is such a task, it is such a chore to find them, and when I do, I just grab a bunch of boxes and then I make it last through all of December. Because once they're gone, you can't find them again. It's like, they only have it out during that year. And other companies are not the same, and the knockoffs are not the same, and you can't make them the same. Like, it has to be the Archway one. So Archway, sponsor my video next year and give me cookies. Like, it's my favorite thing. But tell me down in the comments, do you like to do cookies? Are you a fan of like cooking and baking and all the Christmassy food type things? Like, what do you typically eat? Are you like very specific in your traditional foods? Let me know down in the comments what we're doing for food this Christmas. I'm gonna be doing a bit of baking, but really I have just saved that final box of the Archway wedding cake cookies, and I'm gonna be opening that one on Christmas Day as a treat for myself. I'm gonna make some fun things for my dogs. And it's going to be a very quiet Christmas. We're just gonna do a couple of things, but leading up, we've done lots of lights, lots of fun activities. We just really ran out of time this year to do too much. We were gonna go see different, like, we saw Santa. By the way, I'm doing something cool with Santa. I can't tell you yet. It didn't quite work out for this year, but it is happening next year. But I'm filming it this year, and I'm gonna show you guys next year. So really cool things happening, but we were gonna go see some other characters and some other stuff, and we just ran out of time. So, Merry Christmas to all of you. I hope that you got in more than I did get in this year. I want to hear all about your traditions, what you're planning on doing, how you're going to be managing your Christmas season, what you have on your wish list, and if you're watching this after Christmas, tell me what you got. I want to hear all about it because Christmas is my favorite time of year. It just makes me so happy. I love celebrating. I love doing all of the really great things. I'm so sad when we take down the Christmas decorations and the lights and there's no lights on the house, and if we could just do this year round, like, I would just be a very happy person. So let me know, what are your Christmas thoughts down below? Leave your Christmas wishes for everybody, and we'll see you in the next episode.